Welcome to Good Morning Football. The four of us back together out in the newsroom in Culver City, as always. He's our rock, baby.
All right, at least I is hold together. Nate back in the fold. Love it as always as we get to some news. Colts linebacker Darius Leonard could do no wrong. Solo tackles, won Defensive Rookie of the Year, helped his former teacher change a flat tire. Leonard essentially living his best life. Well, he is fallible, however. General Manager Chris Ballard revealing Leonard underwent ankle surgery last week. He's looking at a 6-week recovery. But is expected to return at the start of training camp as he rehabs. Leonard playing on the ankle throughout the season after suffering the injury in week 3. And like his teammate Leonard, tight end Eric Ebron is also recovering from surgery, groin surgery to be exact. Ebron is expected to be ready for training camp as well. He had a career-high 13 touchdowns last season. More first-round picks inking their 18th overall pick, Senator Garrett Bradbury. To make this happen, though, Minnesota had to get creative with the numbers, given their right. NFL Network's Mike Garafolo reporting the team had to move $2.15 million of linebacker Eric Kendricks' $4.15 million signing bonus. And the Patriots, Harry also signing on the line. That is Mike G. It's a 4-year deal worth $10.1 million with a $5.3. Harry is expected to provide quarterback Tom Brady a big target in the absence of the. Which, by the way, Rob Gronkowski celebrating his 30th birthday on Tuesday. Missed opportunity for us. We're gonna have a fiesta for Yo Soy Fiesta. Kyle, I expected you. maybe to celebrate the occasion, commemorate the occasion. Yeah. Nothing. Zippo, nada.
Called Will. It wants its Fiesta line back. Sorry, bud. That's some low-hanging fruit we didn't pick for once. Give us a break.
Give us some credit here, Will.
We'll talk to you soon,
Yeah, I
Will
guess so.
Silva. Our first glimpse of Odell Beckham Jr. in a Browns uni. Reporting for OTAs Tuesday, looking to establish a bit of a relationship with his quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Yesterday at the table, we asked who the best dual threat running back in the NFL is. Today, I'd love to know which receiver you guys think is the biggest matchup nightmare in the NFL. Because the way I see it, and we talked about this a little bit in the morning, and then we bring them to you, the people, to chime in over on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think it's Julian Edelman, which sounds a little counterintuitive because you think like a bigger guy. But with Julian, I think he exploits matchups. I think he is in a system that creates put into those positions. He does the dirty work. I even think from a work ethic standpoint, he's a mismatch for most defenses, picking them apart whenever he can. And when I think of Julian Edelman out trending moments that happened, of course, Travis Scott and what the Rams are doing and Belichick, I just remember looking at the field every time and being like, why is he always open? Why is Edelman open on every play? Because he's going to throw the ball. We know it's going to 11, yet somehow he gets open. They get him open. A lot of that, of course, with Rob Gronkowski. So I don't know what the difference is going to be without him on the field. But as far as I'm concerned, the Super Bowl MVP performance, the divisional performance, of course, as well, in the play is the biggest mismatch on the field. Am I wrong?
It's frustrating, isn't it?
Am I wrong?
Imagine how Wade Phillips felt that day.
Because you know where it's going.
Of course.
It doesn't matter.
And you can't stop it.
This little guy, and he's just doing his thing.
You're right.
Yeah, his ability to get open along with the play calling. Jules is a beast, one of my favorite players. Over the last couple seasons, leading the NFL, 24 touchdowns. You know, you talk about being a matchup problem. He has a size. He has a speed. I think that's an underrated part of his game. And by the time he runs up on you, it's kind of like a rearview mirror. He's past you. And the fact that he's so physical at the line of scrimmage, like he's slap boxing with a friend, and then he has those hands, those big mitts. He had the largest hands out of all the wide receivers. I mean, I would say he's the Kawhi the hand size, so much so he needs custom gloves. So for me, the matchup problem is the about him, and I know we've given him credit as the best receiver in the game over the last couple of years. Still feel like he's underrated, and we don't talk about him enough. Maybe it's because they haven't got to a Super Bowl, or, you know, they're not in the largest market there in Houston. But I'm going to say DeAndre Hopkins, one of my favorite players. Team All-Pro the last couple seasons. Mm-hmm. That's the absolute best in the business 2 years in a row.
I'll be obvious on this one to me. I'm going Antonio Brown just because of what.
Is it obvious though?
Not obvious, not dismissing you guys, but saying I'm not going with something, you know, outside the box.
I thought you were going to say Julio.
It was either going to be Julio or Antonio for me. Those are my. Antonio Brown will beat you deep. He'll beat you over the middle. He'll beat you on the shallow cross. He'll beat you on the deep post. And I don't know how it works in Oakland. I honestly don't. I don't know if he and Derek Carr will have the same success that he and Roethlisberger had on the field. But you want to talk just sheer production over the past 6-7 seasons. There's been no player better in not only in the NFL, but NFL history of what Antonio Brown has done statistically. And he does it in so many ways. And he's not the towering figure. He's not the slot receiver of Julian Edelman. He's not the huge monster receiver like Julio is. Yeah. He's a normal build. He just seems to always be open and make the big catch and has incredible footwork. So I can go on and on about Antonio Brown. It's my pick. He's just hard to cover because you know he's the best, and yet he does it day in, day out.
It's a great answer, of course. It's not necessarily about production or route or anything. The question is about a nightmare. And I will take what I was born to do, guys. If I want to match up against someone, I do not want a 6'5", 230-pound receiver who is still just 25 years old, entering his prime, and is the youngest player ever to start his career with 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Give me Michael Lynn Evans the third. I was born to speak on this man. DeAndre Hopkins ain't underrated anymore. He ain't under-talked about anymore. He had his coming out last year. Yeah. Mike Evans is the most underrated football player in this league, and I will give you another piece of evidence, guys, because we're talking about a matchup. Yeah. It's not just about when he's out there running routes. It's not just covering them. There's running game in the sport we cover right now. Yeah. And Mike Evans is here to play. Terrence Newman has seen every receiver since the dawn of time. Yeah. Would you like to see what happened when Mike Evans back in the day went up against the venerable Terrence Newman? Because I'd like to show you.
Let's go! Hey, when you watch film on that last screen, you see what I did to 23? No, I know that too. But did you see when I blocked him?
I saw it, Mike. I'm trying to make sure everybody else saw it. He's a big MMA guy. I said, just like that. And still the most underrated player in the NFL, Mike Evans, nightmare fuel. I got you, 13.
Iron Mike Evans right there.
That's it.
He said,
Did you see what I did to you? Incredible.
Lifting him up off his feet.
Beating up the elderly.
Strakes. This is going to go out on Twitter, and
what do you say, folks?
We're going to get smoked for
what do you say? Hey, Odell.
I will say this.
Odell. Sorry, pal. Julio. You said DeAndre Hopkins. You're good.
I think the fans want to know.
Yeah.
I had a text exchange with Odell yesterday, and he described being the best wide receiver in the world as a girl who dated around for a little bit, but now she's coming back to the man she's in love with. He wants to be the best wide receiver in the game. So DeAndre, on alert. I'm just saying. Talked to Odell yesterday. He wants his spot back.
Sounds like we could have started the show with that, Nate.
Hey, what do you mean?
Now we have to talk about Kellen Moore, baby.
Yes.
And Jarvis.
Nate knew him 9 years ago.
Might have something to say about that. Let us know on Twitter who is Mitch Match. Apparently, word on the street, there was a lottery last night.
Yeah.
That did not go as everyone expected, right?
You know what? New York wanted that big, tall, strong guy from Duke. They got Daniel Jones. What do you mean? You got him.
But the only lottery that really matters is the GMFB lottery. Yeah. We're getting that in a little bit. And we're going to bring out the big guns. Peter, you're taking a bold...
People are questioning my thoughts on Kyler's arm. Let's just go. Who's got the best arm in the league? Let's do it.
Arms race.